All right, welcome back to the next edition of Live from Battle Studios. Tonight we have the Chiles Boys soccer coach Bryan McDonald. It's awesome to have you here, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me on, Chris.
Yeah, man, I've been wearing you out over the last couple weeks, and just saw you at the Geo Cup, fresh off of lifting a trophy. How was that whole experience for you?
I'm glad we were given the opportunity to participate in that. I mean, it's for a great cause with the Geo Foundation, and it's also great for the players, an opportunity for them to get out and play. So it gives us an idea as coaches, kind of what we got to work with a little bit, because everything looks good in practice, but I mean, you only know really until you're playing against somebody else. But yeah, ultimately I thought it was a great event. I saw some things that I loved. Saw some things that we need to work on, but all in all, it was a good event.
So you are going into your second full season as head coach, correct?
Third full season.
Man, it flies. So your third full season. Why don't you tell some of the folks who may not know a little bit about you, just really like the 30-second bio for you.
From Tallahassee, I played at Chiles all 4 years for varsity. From then, I went to go play at Jacksonville University for a few years, and then I transferred back over to Tallahassee and kind of got picked up into the coaching gig a little bit. Brian Wilkinson was the head coach at the time, and so this is actually my 13th year with the program at Chiles and third year as head coach.
Wow, man, that's amazing. I didn't know that. 13 years, but I think it's
Yeah,
awesome when you're able to have an
started when I was
alum.
20.
Woo! But I
It's
guess
nuts.
if you take 2 years in between there, you played for 4 years prior, so you've been there for 17 of the
17
last
years of
19
my
years.
life. More than
Yeah.
half of my life, I've been part of child soccer. Yeah.
Wow, that's unbelievable, man. Let's get into just talking a little bit about kind of a season preview. And we're going to have a lot of the local boys high school soccer coaches on here over the next couple weeks and giving them an opportunity to talk about their teams. So we got just a couple questions, and let's kind of get off. So I know you had a lot of maybe transition from last year to this. Some seniors have left; they've gone off to play college. So a very talented team last year. What do you have kind of looking forward to this year as far as maybe the strength of your team?
We lost a good group of kids. I mean, not just good players, but good kids. They were just awesome to have around in the locker room, and just a good team atmosphere. Each new year obviously brings new challenges, and so far what I've seen, I've liked. I think I have another really good group of kids who, at the end of the day, are going to play for each other and work hard and do the right things and make the right decisions. So I can't be upset.
If you could describe your team like real quick in 3 words, what do you think some of the words you'd use to describe your team right now?
3 words:
Yep.
uh, intense, passionate, and discipline.
Well, I think those are three important traits to have, especially in a district that has some really tough competition. So, what are some of the big matchups that you kind of look forward to every year, and maybe there may be some different ones, or just kind of the traditional ones this year? But what do you think are going to be some of the big games that you have on your schedule coming up?
Yeah, there's always, the Lincoln and Leon games are always one that you circle. Those are in town rivalries that have been there since I was a player. Unfortunately, Lincoln's not in our district this year, but still, I mean, that game is always intense from the first whistle to the last whistle. Leon McClay is kind of adopted into a rivalry over the last few years. Um, they always run a really good program over there, and they're always a very good side. Leon, as always, they always produce some pretty good talent. Make you know make games really tough. I mean, I think there's a lot of talent in the city itself. So each time we get to play local opposition at a high quality level, I think it's just good for the city of Tallahassee, really, for growth and development from those young players. But probably out of town games that we have, we've got Gulf Breeze coming up, which was also a pretty highly ranked team, which we're going over there on a weekend and playing them. And then we have a back to back in Jacksonville where we play Fleming Island and Mandarin. And so those are probably some of those games that stand out the most to me. Florida High has always been a pretty good game for us as well. Rico's done a good job with that program, and he always plays us really tough. He does a good job with them, getting them to play the right way. So, I mean, there's a lot of competition that we have, and we try to make our you know team prepare for later down the road and get ready for the district tournament and stuff like that. So, luckily, we have enough talent around us and competition around us to help prepare us. And those games, they're tough, they're close. Anyone can win in any of those games.
Yeah, yeah, as you kind of had the preseason matchup in the final against Leon and a tough game earlier in the day, just this past weekend. But I could hear some of it in your voice though, and you've been around the program for so long. What excites you about being a high school coach, right? You know that age group is just I know it's special and it's near and dear to me. But what are some of the things that just excite you about being a high school soccer coach?
Yeah, I mean, for me, a lot of it is the soccer is. I'm always going to have a huge part of it in my life. It's a lot of people know me as a soccer guy, so um, definitely definitely the relationships that you form with them, I would have to say, is probably the biggest thing. Seeing as how they grow up from being like a young freshman up to a senior who's now about to go take on the world and tackle new challenges. I think seeing the kind of just development and growth as a person really is one of the reasons why I've stuck around as long as I have. Um, yeah, they just it's each new group comes in and different personalities and different chemistries and just keeps you on your toes as a coach. But at the same time, when you see them develop and grow into young men, and I mean, we still have kids from the program years and years ago who come watch the games, like from the early 2012s, 2015s, 7 years out. I mean, they're still coming in and watching the games. And part of that is just because of, how we treat the program is like a family, really. So really the relationships that we build with the team, I mean, ultimately is really what excites me the most, and just seeing the different characters and who's going to be the comedian, right? Who kind of takes on those different roles. So,
Yeah, well, it's a good transition. Who are some of the top players maybe on the field that you guys will feature this year?
yeah, we've got our two leading goal scorers from last year returning, in Cade Swart and Garrett Elabash. They're two pretty prominent players for us. Charlie Buckholz, who was a starter last year on the back line, he's a returner, so this is his senior year. He's someone who has really good technical ability, and he can be a good, field general for us. Um, I think we got some good returning keepers coming in. I graduated two senior keepers last year, and they're both very talented. But I think we have a couple good ones coming in now. Some just the development from a lot of the guys that were on the team last year. I think everybody's improved over the summer, and everybody's they're fighting for spots, which is all I can ask for. Um, but I mean, I would the standouts I would probably would say would be the two returning goal scorers for me from last year, and I think Charlie, being a senior now, Garrett, this is his senior year, and I think he's the only player that was a varsity player for all 4 years now. So I could be wrong on that, and if I am wrong, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to him, the senior, if I get that wrong. But I think we have a bunch of good characters on our team, and we have a bunch of workhorses, and just I'm ready.
So, in continuing that conversation about individuals, and I know you're walking a line because all your players are going to watch this, of course. Let's shift
Right.
out. Let's shift out. So, give me two or three players just in our region that you kind of you look forward to watching, even though you're competing with them. But give me some of these guys that may be on the radar again from other teams that you look forward to watching play. Because I know again, like you mentioned earlier, this is about Tallahassee. We all of us are getting better, even though you are true bleed wolves got to eat, but we understand.
Right. So from other teams, I mean, some of the ones that I noticed, especially over the weekend, um, there's Nico Balog at Leon, who he can influence a game pretty well. I know he pushed on a little bit and later in the game and gave us a bit of fits. He's one that stands out to me. Donovan, also at Leon, is also quite a good player. He does a bunch of things that I like as a player, and he's technically sound, and he's very disciplined when I see him play. And he's just in there. He's not willing, he's not afraid to get his body on the line. Robin from Florida High. I mean, I think Connor from Lincoln. I mean, there's several players that I saw at least over the weekend that were quite good. RJ Jose at McClay. He's a handful when he's fit. He can cause problems. He's physical. He's strong. He's fast. He reads the game well. So there's a bunch of talent
Yeah,
in
no,
Tallahassee, I think, and I'm probably missing a bunch of names here, but
that's the problem,
there's
right? That's always a problem when you
right.
start naming people. But as I said, two or three folks. There, there's talent throughout the district, but it's always interesting, again, especially for everyone watching, to know that everyone is watching, and that we have talent in this area, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this kind of interview show as well. So we try to keep it at 10 minutes. We're right at 11. Believe it or not, it's gone by fast. Have really just one or two kind of concluding questions. Since I have you here and you are an alum, while we're trying to be very general, I wanted to hit you with, what are some of your favorite moments, or your favorite moment of playing for the Tallahassee Battle Lions?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be a part of that first year team, and we had a bunch of good characters on that team, like Hugo, Schmoker, Pete Love. I mean, there was a bunch of good guys. Mikey Sang, Nico. I mean, I could name everybody right off the team. I think one of the highlights definitely though was I mean the bus rides are just I mean as an athlete when you're done playing, yes, you miss playing, but one of the things you miss the most is just being with the guys. Like the bus rides, those kind of things, which later down the road you kind of take for, you may take for granted in the moment, and later down the road you look back like, man, I really enjoyed it. So on top of playing and playing with all those pretty talented players, and unfortunately everybody kind of had to go their separate ways once COVID hit. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed my year there playing, with Bruno and Tony and all those guys, and it was a great experience for me.
Awesome, man. Well, we are extremely proud of everything that you continue to do for soccer throughout the community, showing up at events,
Thank you.
coaching, obviously, high school. And we're a fan. And I want to thank you. Is there anything you want to say, kind of just to conclude and wrap up for the night?
I mean, the only thing I can say is thank you, Chris, for all that you've done on highlighting, giving us a platform to have these kind of interviews, and then also just trying to improve the growth of the game in the city. I mean, there's a bunch of people that have done really good jobs, trying to take soccer in Tallahassee to kind of a next level, and you've put a lot on the line for yourself, I know, for Tallahassee, and I think we can all appreciate what you have done. So
Well, thanks, man. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed the conversation tonight. Like we said, we are going to get a lot of our boys' high school soccer coaches on the show here in the next couple of weeks, and we hope everyone has a great rest of whatever time of day it is that you're watching this. So until the next time.